Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of Wrestle Tea with me, Sam Leterna. This particular guest is just so special to me because you're one of the people I first saw in wrestling as a kid when I stumbled upon TNA. Miss Sarah Stock. She has been a 20-year veteran of the Squared Circle. She's competed for AAA, CMLL, of course, TNA Impact, and even in recent years, she's been a WWE coach, producer, agent. She is a Jill of all trades. You've been traveling the world, and recently you decided to make your in-ring return in a place where your career started in many ways, Mexico. How are you doing, Sarah?
Good. Thank you so much for the interview. Great to finally meet you.
Great to meet you too. I love how the power of Twitter works, right? I just put a tweet out there, put the positive energy out there, and then somehow we made it happen. So I'm very happy to be here interviewing you.
Yes, me too. And I should mention Lance Storm's hand in this. He sent me a little DM and told me how cool you were and that it would be a good interview to do. So shout out to Lance as well.
Awesome. Yes, Lance is awesome. I trained with him at Storms before I stopped wrestling and spent a good amount of time in Canada, actually. Have a soft spot for Canada myself. April 29th to May 1st, you decided that you'd have a 3-day in-ring return.
Yes.
Now tell me about how this came about and, was there any back and forth in your mind about doing it?
Yeah, I think since I was released from WWE, there was back and forth in my mind about whether I wanted to even stay in the business, look for something in it, or turn the page completely and start a new chapter in my life. So I took a good year and a half of traveling around and sitting in my mind. I didn't watch any wrestling, didn't think about wrestling. And, it just kept calling to me, and when I stopped by Tennessee to visit my friend Mark Jindrak and his wife and their son, and I spent a few days with them, and he had just made his return to the ring a couple weeks before I got there. So we had a good conversation about it, and he's been a good friend for several years, and he kind of convinced me that I still have a lot to give and maybe I should give it another shot. So he had a great experience with the promoter that I ended up working for. It's Robles Promotions. And, it really got me thinking, and this opportunity came up, and Robles was interested in bringing me back to Mexico for a few dates. And once I decided, I was all in, then there was no more back and forth. It's like, okay, I got to do this. So I'm going to do it the right way. I'm going to go to a dojo, live in the gym, train here for a couple months and make sure my mind's right, my body's right, and just, kind of go all in with it.
Yeah, definitely just living the lifestyle and re-immersing yourself after, spending time traveling the world in is it a tiny home or is it like an RV? What is it exactly?
Yeah, I guess you could call it a tiny home. It's, it's a little transit van, like 20-foot long. It's awesome. It's got everything you need in it. It's got a little electric stove, a shower, toilet, big queen size bed. It's just been my little home for the past year and a half. So it's like a converted camper van.
Nice. A taste of freedom. You can go anywhere at any moment. That's so, so cool.
I wish I'd had that van when I first started wrestling because it's so great. You don't have to worry about hotels or crashing at somebody's house or anything. It's just got your hotel on your bag.
Yeah, that would have taken a lot of guesswork out of the transportation part of wrestling back in the day, I'm sure. Oh my gosh.
For sure.
But speaking of the in-ring return, you had mentioned on Twitter a couple of weeks ago that you wanted your return to be fun for you. You wanted wrestling to be fun for you again. Was there a turning point for you where you felt like perhaps wrestling either wasn't for you anymore or that it wasn't fun for you?
Well, I think, listen, my time at WWE was so valuable to me and in so many different ways. And just overall, the people that I met there and the things I learned there, those are lessons I'll take with me for the rest of my life. But it was very constant, you're completely on someone else, watch on someone else's clock. And just, no real break from it, no mental break from it. And I think it came to a point where, you know, blessings in disguise sort of thing. The time away from it really did me good. So it's not like there was one moment when I said, oh, I'm sick of this and I need a break, you know, because it's part of me and it's been who I am for the last 20 years. So not like some exact point, but I think the fun just came back when I decided that I wasn't going to take huge risks in the ring. You know, I'm going back doing the things that I do well, that I love to do, that you know, that don't put my life in danger. And those just taking those or like making those little rules for myself, make it fun again, make me excited to get up there and just perform.
And two, you spoke to having like a certain standard for yourself, I guess like a physical standard and an in-ring standard that you're used to upkeeping. And after being outside of the ring, not outside of the ring, perhaps that's the wrong word, because I know you rolled around over the last couple of years, but
yeah,
away from, you know, the lights, the cameras, the action of it, being in square and center in a match. Was there ever a point during the last 2 or 3 months of your training to return where you were like, uh-oh, I don't know if I bit off more than I can chew?
I think so. You know, I went in with the mindset of I'm going to get to where I can get to, and I'm going to do it in a healthy way, in a safe way. I think when I was younger, I was more willing to be extreme and diet really hard, overtrain, do all that kind of thing. And this time around, I made the decision to train hard, to eat well, stay strong, stay healthy, but not take it to any extreme. So of course, there's some self-doubt. I know I'm not going to look like I did when I was 25, for example, but I know that how I look now, maybe it's a different body type, maybe more womanly type of body that I can completely own and that people still find attractive.
I was just dumbfounded by the amount of work that you were putting in to, you know, return strong and, you know, do best for you and what's best for the fans as well, because of course they want to see Dark Angel, Sarah Stock, like do her thing in the ring, and you definitely did that in your trios matches this weekend. How did it feel being in the ring?
Thank you. It felt so strange that first night, because the first night was in Mexico City, and that it was the biggest show. It felt like a really big show. The whole setup was incredible, lots of people. So before I went out there, I was a bundle of nerves, as you can imagine, and just trying to control my breathing and get out there. It felt strange, until I got out there, and then I heard the people react, and I was like, okay, I know I can do this. I remember what this is now. But that lead up was intense, because it had been 7 years since I'd been in the ring. So very strange type of feeling before. That's the only word I can put to it, is it just felt strange until I was out there. And then it all came back, and it felt great to perform, to be out there. And, you know, the second 2 nights were a lot more chill. They were both in like bull rings. One was in Merida, one was in Cancun. Nice. More of a casual, relaxed atmosphere. It wasn't that like big show feeling that I had anticipated for, you know, the 2 nights. So getting Mexico City out of the way was like a relief. And then I felt like the next 2 nights more, and you know, kind of reveling in everything, in the camaraderie, and that I missed so much, just being in the locker rooms, being being with all the people. And it's been great to have that again in my life, even in the last 2 months here at the dojo. Just everybody understands what you're going through. Everybody's on the same type of mission, the same type of with the same type of goals. So that's been a really cool part, is just after being alone for so long, finally getting back into the whole environment, the whole atmosphere.
So over the past 2 years, you took a hiatus from wrestling, but then the previous 5, you had been employed with WWE as a coach, agent, producer, one of the first females to be employed in that role, which I'd imagine is an honor in and of itself. But the time that you came in, I found was very, very almost like serendipitous, for you, for the ladies that were training at that time, 2015, the beginning of the women's revolution in the WWE. When you came into WWE at that time, did you already feel this happening, or was this something that like you and the other female coaches and the ladies were putting into motion?
I mean, I think it was in motion already. That's a cool time to get off and help push that along. For the voice for the women there. But you know, I mean, this has been coming for. I'm saying it with like, the girls that were at the Performance Center at the time, especially, were such badasses and just you know, took it by the horns. And you know, with Paige and Beck, with that, and all of them are just so talented and so driven. And to have you know, to be there to witness that, and to give my little you know, my little footprint where I could, was just super cool. And I'm just so happy to see them continuing to push the envelope and just make us all proud. And everyone that's put in time and that struggled to get better pay, struggled to get on main events, struggled to get higher up on the card. It's just, it's a wonderful thing to see it all happening now, in the States and on a larger scale. Very cool.
And in terms of all of these ladies that you coached at the PC, is there one that stands out to you who's perhaps like your, you know, your greatest success, or someone that you're really proud of their progress and your hand in that progress?
That's a tough one, because you know, I love all those girls. And the thing is, when you're traveling with them too, it's almost, it's not quite a locker room, you know, because it's a different role that I took, but you're still traveling with them all the time, and you're seeing their ups and downs, and you know, things that they go through in their personal lives, or maybe, you know, they lose someone, or they go through a breakup, or whatever the personal situation is, and you're just living it with them. And even if, you know, you're not right in there, like, wanting to hear all the details, you still feel the vibes, and you see what's going on. And it just, there's such a connection where you're like, I get what you're going through, because I've been there. And you're far away from home, you can't go run and take care of these problems. So there's just like such a, I guess, a respect and a love for all those girls. And you know, despite if I've butt heads with some of them, or if I've, you know, just had great relationships with them, I just love and respect them all, and think they're all such hardworking women. But you know, in particular, I think it's hard to name names, but I think someone I had a really good connection with from the beginning was Liv Morgan. I think we just clicked. My coaching style clicked with her personality, and I see what she's doing now, and I'm just so proud of her. And I mean, that can go for so many other girls, you know, can go for all of them, from Charlotte to Bianca. Just every single one of them has something special that just, it makes me happy to know I could be there through some of those difficult times, and maybe help them understand things in a different way. Whether that's about wrestling, or just about life in general, or dealing with things on the road, or dealing with certain problems in the locker room, the right way to deal with problems or the wrong way to deal with them, things like that. So really, they're all just really, really special to me in different ways.
In terms of like advice and knowledge, being that you've, you know, been in the industry for 20 years, is there a particular piece of advice that you would offer to a woman either aspiring to be a wrestler in the present sphere of wrestling, or perhaps to a woman that's wrestling on the indies, you know, up and coming, making her name?
You know, I think a lot of your success is just can be based on your reputation and your star power. And sometimes all the hard work in the world, and I'm a big proponent of hard work, but sometimes all the hard work in the world doesn't equate to success in the wrestling business. So, you know, it's important to just focus on your star power, how to increase that, you know. And a lot of your success can also be attributed to the way that you deal with people and your relationships with other people. So I guess, you know, deal with things one-on-one. If you have a problem with someone, the whole world doesn't need to know about it. Twitter certainly doesn't need to know about it. The locker room doesn't need to know about it, but you can pull someone aside and have a conversation with them one-on-one and get it cleared up that way. So I think those are some things I would tell someone aspiring. And then the other thing is just keep pushing. And if you love this, just keep at it, keep going. You know, I never wrestled with WWE. I never thought that I would have the opportunity to work there behind the scenes all those years later, you know, but it's thanks to the relationships I kept throughout the years and just my reputation in the ring that allowed me to do that, and has kept me in the business for much longer than just what I could do in the ring. So you never know what kind of opportunities are out there, and stick with it. If you love it, someone will notice your passion. So keep the passion alive. Never be afraid to speak up for yourself, and just keep working hard.
Is there any point while you were at WWE where that phrase, you know, divas turning into superstars, was that like happening behind the scenes, like a movement amongst the women, or like how did that come about, that moment where there was that shift from divas to superstars?
All of that was kind of you know, in motion before I got there, but I do remember just some conversations, some general conversations. We would do these, like, they're called skull sessions, where we'd sit and watch tape from the week before, either matches the girls had or matches from other wrestlers or eras or whatever, and just kind of analyze the matches and talk about them. And in one of those sessions, I remember there was a conversation going on about that word divas, and just the general feeling of we're superstars. You know, this is a room full of women that are saying we are superstars. And shortly after that is when, at the WrestleMania, when Lita presented the belt. So there was a definite strong feeling going on backstage, and definitely a shift. I don't have all that much insight on it because, like I say, that happened just a couple months after I got there. And just the extra amount of time that the women put in is incredible. And if anyone outside this could look in and see how they operate on so little sleep, and just, you know, the way that they just push through everything, it's incredible. So I just want to say, in my opinion, yes, there is a work ethic that's even stronger that they all possess. So needed to throw that out there.
After these last 3 shows, has it kind of lit a fire under you to perhaps move forward with more dates, maybe a singles match in the future? What can we see from Sarah's talk next?
Well, I can definitely say I had a great time. I was so happy with how I was received by the people, and I do have some more dates coming up in May that I've committed to, and I'm just taking this all very step by step. I'd love to have a singles match. That, you know, that's definitely it. What I don't want to do is go back to grinding, and you know, I did that for a long time, where I'm, you know, just working every week, several times a week, and destroying my body. I think anything I do now will be more select dates. Won't be like a weekly thing even. I'm not looking to like jump back in full time. Definitely keep training in the meantime, keep making improvements in terms of my physique, and keep learning, you know, new techniques. All of that will stay consistent, but just keep this at a place where it's very enjoyable for me, specific dates only, and keep living my life outside of it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Sarah. Where can people find you should they want to keep up to date with your future, you know, schedule and whatnot? What's your social media information?
SS Dark Angel on Twitter and Instagram. They can find me on Facebook, Sarah Stock Dark Angel. It's all pretty simple. And I have a little YouTube channel that documents like all the time that I spent traveling in my van, and I'll continue to update that as well. So they can look for me on there as well.
Absolutely. Subscribe to Sarah Stock on YouTube. It's called It's a Wander. So check her out.
Yes.
Sarah, thank you so much. And guys, thank you for tuning in once more to Wrestle Tea. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, tell your friends about Wrestle Tea, and of course, comment below and let me know what you think about this interview, and check out the other ones on the sidebar. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Sam.